Welcome back to the Tu-Vie podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the Mandalorian season 3 finale. Colin, this is the way.
Dude, this is the way, man.
I've been waiting for a long time to use this again. I think I used this in like a TikTok, I think, which you can check out at TikTok, a Tu-Vie podcast on TikTok. But yeah, this is fogging up real quick, by the way. This is not something that I bought that's like handcraft. I think you can actually see my you can if you
I,
can actually see my
I can see the fog. I can see
great.
the fog. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful, man.
Yeah, it's not the way I wanted it to be, but it made for a good intro. That was my theory because we're talking about Mandalorian season 3 finale. But I don't like the way this looks, so I'm gonna fix it real quick. See, I like this headphone. I've been waiting to use that stupid snap trick since I ever saw it on Vine years ago. But now here we are talking on the Tu-Vie podcast. Colin, how you doing? How you doing, dude?
Pretty good. This
Deadly
morning
even? Having a
what?
bloody good time? Because I think you
Yeah,
saw a certain horrific movie last night that I think I'm gonna have to work up to in a few years. But Colin, you saw the Evil Dead Rise last night. I want to give your non-spoiler filled review because you're gonna do your spoiler filled one on your own channel, right?
yeah. At some point, I'm definitely because after I left the theater, like I was working really hard to piece together the film so that I could come up
Sure.
with a concise essay.
I mean, it's kind of hard to describe that movie each time because it's kind of the same thing but just different.
Yeah,
I don't blame
I
you.
noticed, I noticed the structure of that movie. It harkens back to the Sam Raimi Evil Dead
Mm.
formula, which is not a
Yeah.
bad thing
No, it's
because
a pretty. It's a good structure to begin with. I mean, years ago with the simple book and audio tape. This is why I don't trust
yeah,
audiobooks. It's exactly the same. I don't trust them.
yeah, you're definitely not going to trust. You're okay with me? Okay, no, no,
I
no, not
personally don't
save
care
it.
about the spoilers, but
I'm going to save it because
I
I
think
don't
we
want.
should save. Yeah, so
There
we're not going
were
to give a spoiler warning because we're not doing a spoiler filled one, but that's for a different
absolutely,
thing.
absolutely. All I will say is that I was noticing that they were playing with the tropes of like horror, like the incantation of the
Hmm.
demon. How they did it this time though, I was really surprised. I was like, "Oh, these characters, they're not going to be stupid." Like there is not a single dumb character
Okay,
in this
that's always good
movie
in
that
horror
I
movies.
loved. The kid actors did an
They look
incredible job.
from the trailers that I got. The little girl that's looking through the
The
peephole.
little girl
She looks like
surprised
she's gonna steal the show. Just from the
me.
that little trailer they give with the mom in the peephole of the doorway. She looks
Mm.
like she's really bringing the feared heart of the movie.
You remember that little teaser of like that melody song? Like it was like the teaser trailer to the trailer. It was like 30 seconds long. You
Yeah, it
remember
was
that?
it was like a nursery rhyme trailer,
That
right?
I forget the actress's name. Hold on, wait.
The girl
But
that plays the mom.
yeah, the girl that played
I
that was
kept
the
thinking
big.
that was Carrie the girl that plays Bo-Katan in the Mandalorian. I kept thinking it
Yeah,
was her because they look very similar, but
like
I kept being that wrong.
but when you watch the movie, Alyssa Sutherland,
Hmm.
Alyssa Sutherland,
Okay.
that's her singing. That's her singing.
Oh, really?
I like
That's
it
kind
was
of
I
cool.
that is really
Was
cool.
it like a trope they did like I noticed how like some parents they like record like audio but like they read like a children's book for their kid and so that if they have to go like spend the night at their grandparents house and they want like an audio book from their parents they just play the recorder. Was that something and they just made it scary?
No,
No.
that was they edited they made it echo-ish, echoey for the sake of the trailer, but you actually hear her normal voice singing, so it's not going to sound similar, but that is
Oh,
still her
so it was
singing.
edited for the trailer but in the movie it's different.
In the
I
movie
guess
it's
it's a
different.
kind of spoil. That's not
You
really a
get
spoiler. It's not really.
no, 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 no. It
Like
doesn't
it's not
ruin.
giving away anything about the movie.
Yeah, it's not. I'm trying to think, but okay. So, non-spoilery. The kids did an incredible job. I was worried about I don't know her name. I've seen her, and I know I've seen her face in the beginning of the movie. So the short black-haired girl who,
Oh, Lily Sullivan.
I
The
believe
character
that's
name
her.
was Beth.
Beth.
She has
Yes,
short
Lily
black
Sullivan.
hair.
Wait, no. Gabrielle Eccles. Beth played. I'm sorry, there's multiple, but Lily Sullivan stole the show.
Oh,
She was a badass.
all
Um,
right.
but there was another daughter of the Alyssa Sutherland's character, and at first I thought she was gonna annoy me. I was like, oh no, she's like a protester. She's giving crap to her mom. And then like when you get like you see her relationship, it's only brief with like her siblings. I'm like, oh no, this is actually kind of endearing. It's fun
Hmm.
because there's like a banter with the entire family. Like the mom isn't like, taking crap and being like, oh my kids don't connect like there are reasons why that there is what it is, but
Sure.
and it's a small detail that I'm on, but it's one of my nitpicks when I'm watching a movie, and you have like the child who is just like I don't want to be here, or I don't want to like I
Oh,
hate you, mom.
like the kid that just doesn't want to go camping.
Yeah,
Like that kind
or
of thing. Like it's a
or they
family
move.
vacation and you're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, like they move into a new like that kid that moves into
Oh,
a
they
new
moved to a
house.
new
Like my
house.
friends
Okay.
aren't my friends aren't here, and like oh, I don't know why you did this to me.
Hmm.
No, like she's just like she has
We
like a
were all like
chip
that
on.
at one point, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
But the gore, perfect.
I feel like
I
that
would
makes or breaks an Evil Dead movie. You know,
yeah,
it's really hard to make a PG-13 evil. Like you have to go that
there
extreme
was I
because the first one
the
was NC-17, right?
all of them were R rated, including the Ash versus Evil Dead show. And I personally don't believe that Sam Raimi or any person who wants to make an Evil Dead movie would ever do PG-13 because you
I
can't do.
agree, but was there not an NC-17 cut? I could have sworn that they made an NC-17 and they had to cut it for R. Or was it like
Uh,
originally NC-17 and he had to like adjust it because the company wouldn't release it or something? I remember hearing something like that.
you might be right. I haven't heard anything about that. But oh, dude, Evil Dead Rise was so perfect. My movie theater experience, though, there were so many annoying people that I had to move seats. It saved the movie for me. I like so that like going to theaters, it's our church,
Yes, yeah.
it's our religion, and
Standing up in the front with our arms up. Yeah.
standing up the yeah, like, and there are moments where you can applaud, you can say stuff like "woo," like
Yeah,
people Marvel
yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
and I was happy that the theater was reacting to the parts where it is appropriate. Like in the first 5 minutes, you hear the theater go whoa,
Yeah,
and
it's always a good feeling when you have a theater experience and everyone is a part of that that wave of emotion together. Like there's something, I don't know, there's like an unspoken bond that you guys walk out with. It's I don't know, it's kind of
it's
neat.
like you all were there together. You
Yeah.
all you all went through the
That's why
ride.
my favorite theater experience is Infinity War and not Endgame because no one in Endgame other than me was reacting to these things out
You
loud.
saw
I'd
Endgame
say
late, right?
I started like a week later, but either way, it was a week. It was a week late. It made like $1 billion. I thought one other person would have reacted somewhat similar to me, but it was
Yeah,
just me.
I saw it 4 times, and I don't know. Like the theater should have said maybe it's a Texas thing, and like
I
New
would
Jersey
not
people are
doubt it
just so
if that's the
sensitive.
case. I would not have a single shred of doubt if that was the actual case.
Yeah, and
Maybe.
no disrespect to my fellow New Jersey people. I live in New Jersey too, but I am sorry for you.
Well, they got to deal with us. But no, so Evil Dead, the Evil Dead Rise, would you say is a success or would you say it's kind of like peering
Success.
off to be another trilogy or
No, it's a
the one
success.
off?
A spirit. I don't know if it's a one-off though.
But
Like
you
I
don't
will
think it's a
say that
trilogy?
I don't. I
I mean, I doubt we're going to be done with Evil Dead movies at this
We're
point.
not gonna be done
We're
with
going to get
Evil Dead.
1,000. Like we're going to be one that's. I bet you probably. I'm going to guess maybe 8 years from now they're going to do another Evil Dead movie, and it's going to be an audiobook this time. Someone's going to download the wrong audiobook. They're going to think it's a joke, and they think it's going to be on Halloween, and they're actually going to download an audiobook of the nom.
A PDF file.
A PDF file that like the new update that has like the flip text the animation when you read books on the iPad. It's just going through like that. Kind of like that one, like the movie Unfriended.
Oh no, God,
That
I
movie
don't
was
like
not
that
good.
movie. I know a lot of people liked it, but I don't. I didn't like it at all.
I
It just was.
mean, the only time I actually really got freaked was the ending when the laptop got shut and then the hand came out. But I think, yeah, I don't know. The Nomicron on digital file would be kind of fun.
You have
I don't
like
know. Because because like there's always that trope of people in Halloween, they like go super intense. They have like, this is a real grave that I bought and buried in my yard. And why? But I think having like, I don't know, I'd say 8-10 years. I think that's the next best move because it tells a better story. It's like these kids who, they don't know any better, and kids are stupid with their phones and everything. So they download like stupid files thinking it's going to get free Minecraft skins or whatever, if that's still a thing. Um, and then have it actually be the Nomicron. I don't know, because I feel like you don't have to have the tape playing and the book flipping. You can have both at the same time.
Yeah, you also need both at the same time
That is
because
true, but usually it's the tape which then activates the book,
actually I
right?
don't know if that no, that is true because every time there was an incantation, the book was there to
Well, it's always been side by side, so either way, they've
yeah.
both been there, but it started with the tape,
It's
from
oh
what I
yeah,
remember.
yeah. I what they did with it was very smart and I loved it a lot. And also all I will say is
It's
the
kind of hard
trailer
to give a spoiler on this
that
movie.
it's there's no spoil. I'm not going to
No,
say
it's hard.
anything
It's hard
spoiler.
not to because there's a lot of things I bet you want to talk about, but that would be, you know,
Yeah, I like there's so much Sam Raimi respect
that's
in
good.
this movie.
That's good. You kind of want
And
that for the
and
movie.
there are little clips out there, not in the trailers, but just like little like advertisement clips, like
Hmm.
the ads or
Like
if you're
TV
scrolling
spots.
through, yeah, TV spots. And you do get those doses of Sam Raimi, and you like this is so faithful, so respectful, so much fun, and it checks off all the marks for a movie going experience. Somebody who appreciates horror that wants to have a good time, someone who loves Sam Raimi and loves his work and wants to see it shine. And on top of that, you also get a well structured movie and you have a hero that you follow throughout.
Like a last girl standing thing.
Oh god,
Yeah.
dude, she was so cool when she
And now
held the
this may
dog.
be a spoiler. I feel like this is a spoiler everyone would be okay with. Is
Okay.
Bruce Campbell in the movie? Is a
Um,
cameo or something like his
I
voice in the
don't know if he
background?
but I don't know if he was in an end credits scene because I didn't
Maybe he
stay.
wasn't credited. Was he like? Did they go
He,
somewhere? You maybe heard his
he is
voice.
credited as a producer.
Oh,
I don't know if there's a because there was an end credit scene for spoilers for 2013's Evil Dead
oh. Which,
where
by the
like
way, that's the one that had an NC-17 rating, and they had to cut it down for art. It was the 2013 one. That's what it was.
oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
There's
kind of
still
want to
an
see that cut
there's still an unrated version out there that has additional footage
for the original.
for the 2013.
Oh,
And I like that one, but I still think the original theatrical cut it still stands on its own. Not stands on its. It's still enjoyable, but
yeah,
if you want more, the 2013 one is that I think
kind of
that
like
version.
BVS.
Yeah. Well, no, no,
No.
no, not like BBS, not like BBS.
I know that movie is awful
But
without that extended edition.
the unrated cut for the 2013, that's where you get the shot from the trailers where she's like, "We're gonna get you, not
Hmm.
another." It's just the movie is so fun, and I will tell you this:
Interesting one.
there, I told you this last night, but there was one jump scare that scared me, but it wasn't I don't count it as a jump scare.
You just don't want to admit you got scared because you're Mr. Horror.
No,
Ooh, Mr. Horror, finally
I
got
want to get
scared.
scared, dude. When that happened, I was like, "Whoa!" I was
Yeah.
so
No,
impressed because
I
it
was
was,
surprised to hear you even had a jump scare. That doesn't normally happen in horror movies. That's the
yeah.
difference between me and you. I can tell you to not watch a movie because I found it incredibly horrible and super freaky, like Barbarian. I recommend. I'm like, dude, that's the freakiest movie I've ever seen. I watched majority of it through my hands. It was awful, similar to my experience in The Shining. And you watched it while you were packing your clothes for our Florida trip, like it was nothing, like it was
The
Christmas with the Cranks. Like I had to put on headphones. I couldn't stand it. And you're
Dude,
fine.
no, I mean, yeah, there were a couple moments in Barbarian where I was like, whoa.
Yeah, it's a
Um,
wild movie.
like not whoa as in like that's creepy, but whoa as in like I did get scared because I was like, whoa, that's cool. Like I told you there was one jump scare when spoilers for Barbarian because it's still very
Honestly, yeah, this one was
it's
spoiler. This one, because
okay.
if you're gonna watch this movie, be prepared to just be extremely uncomfortable. If
And
What are you talking about?
if you're a horror fan, like be prepared to have a really good time watching that movie because it's so much fun. It
Fun is
has
not a word I would describe that movie, Colin.
for you, man. But like for me, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I enjoyed Evil Dead Rise. I had
Like,
a
I
I
look,
had a
I get it,
grin.
but it's just like, once you know the story of Barbarian, it's really hard to say it's fun for a horror movie, because whatever. What's the thing? What made you freaked?
It was it
I
was
think we're thinking
right
the same thing, but I want to hear
it
it.
was right it was right before Bill Skarsgård's character
Oh,
and it
that is
was like
not what we were
it
talking
was
about then.
that sound effect of like the dun 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 and then like he
Yeah, the sound of
grabs
her feet on the
yeah
concrete.
that's
Oh,
it was the sound that got me because it was just it was so well crafted. Like
mm.
I don't get scared from jump scares because you kind of you can see it coming a mile away. So you're not really scared. You're just more like anxious of like, okay, let's just, you know, it's gonna get super loud or like there's gonna be a creepy phase, whatever. Evil Dead Rise had no jump scares.
Mm.
Like or like I don't know, like because
But like a cliche jump scare.
like a cliche jump scare. It was all like playfully fun, brutal, violent, and it hard. No, I want to keep this to myself because
Then then
anybody who
then
knows
just save it
Sam
for your
Raimi,
your
they
review on
know
your
that.
podcast, on your
Yeah,
show.
they know how you know Sam Raimi demons are, and all I can say is you're not going to be disappointed. This demon is just as creepy, just as like mean as you know, but
It's
worse.
nasty.
And the third act, all I will say is if you're a fan of Sam Raimi, you will be applauding like I was. You'll be punching yourself. You'll be like, yeah. You know, it's just so
I don't think I've ever
much
seen you
fun.
this excited about a movie since, like, I don't even know. It's been a long time. I'll say that. I don't think I've ever seen you this
Dude, I've been
motivated about a
waiting
movie.
years for this,
You
man.
have. This is like your this is your Lightyear. For those who don't know, Lightyear, when it came out last year, was like the movie of all movies for me. I was so excited. I talked a crap ton both on the podcast here and on TikTok. I wasn't disappointed, but this is my Evil Dead,
This is
but
my
Pixar.
this is my light year,
Yeah, this is your
which
life.
is
You
so
can definitely
weird.
tell what kind of, you can tell
So
what
they're
genres we're into.
completely different movies.
It is night and day with me and you. You watched, I'm losing my words here, man. Did you watch the Russo brothers Pizza Film School episode of the Evil Dead? Because you and I've been binge watching their series again, because it's really, really good. If you guys haven't seen it, the Russo brothers, who did Infinity War,
I have that on
Extraction.
my I had that on my watch later because I was watching
It's a good one.
I was very busy
Mm,
and I didn't want to because I was really looking forward to the Zack Snyder episode which I watched, loved it,
it's
and
great.
I was really impressed with just I miss Zack, but I did not watch it,
Mm.
but I know you did. So how did you like
So
it?
yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, it's the Russo brothers that did all these different movies. Infinity War, Extraction, we all know them. They during COVID they had their own little thing to help promote small businesses and talk about movies, which is like their own thing. And they did Pizza Film School because they want to give people who may not be able to go to film school some advice about what it is to be in film. And season one, which was like 2020 to mid 2021 maybe, they did about writing and the craft of the movie. And then season two, now with Zack Snyder, both part one and part two, is about directing and how that style is changing through with each director. So it was really good. But for the Evil Dead one, they went through like the whole process of how it was made and everything. And I was thoroughly surprised on a lot. I did not know that Sam Raimi was given like bare minimum money but made so much more of it. I really thought this was like, I didn't think it was high budget, but I thought it was good enough budget, like not bare minimum, but slowly above it, you
I
know?
thought it was like the default 80s like horror
Yes,
budget.
exactly. And also didn't realize how creative, he did a lot of the Spiel. I don't know what's going on with me. He did like a lot of the Spielberg thing where you don't see it, so your imagination takes care of it for you, which makes it scarier, like Spielberg did with Jaws. And so that board that they attach the camera with to be the eyes of the demon is genius. I think it's super creative. It's like, all right, we have no money. We're around a bunch of trash. Let's make it happen.
Also, I don't know if you noticed this, and I hate to cut you off. Uh, to talk about the budget of that. So you remember, because you said you've seen the first Evil Dead, right?
I've
Like a while
seen
ago.
the first two, and I want to say Evil Army of the Dead, but again, it's been a while,
Army of
so they're
Darkness,
like
Army of
meshing
Dead.
together. Army of Darkness, sorry. See, even then, see, it's been a while, so I got to rewatch them.
I didn't mean to be a snob, but that was a
No, I mean, I got the name
for
wrong.
for other people who don't,
Shoot me while I'm down, Colin. Thanks. No, all
you're my best friend. I would never
right.
like.
So, what are you saying about the budget?
That's not true. Okay, so you can actually see it in the original movie, but like with the camera, like yeah, you actually see the rough around the edges. So like it's like a POV shot of like the car coming into the cabin, but you
Mm,
see like the twigs and the trees like hitting the camera.
yeah.
Like you see that like stuff, and it's just those small little things that you like if for a person who like if you know the backstory of Evil Dead, you'll start to notice it and appreciate it. Be like, oh wow, okay,
But
so
also, I
like
think even if you don't know it and you're just seeing it, like you're thinking it's like some kind of mistake, but it actually kind of makes it more personal. Like, because in most movies they have a clear edge or they have like plastic around it, so it looks like a clear frame. But I think having the bushes and the twigs hit it make it feel like there is something, like you're really watching the through the eyes of something, as if that
oh,
was
but it was a
watching you.
shot like it was a shot of like the car, like the top of
Oh,
they had the camera on top of the car, so it was like a mistake on the filmmakers end. But
oh,
with but they couldn't correct it because they only had enough time and enough budget for like one take,
yeah.
which
Did
is really
they?
cool
They didn't shoot
because
that on film, did they? No.
I I don't know the specifics on that
I
one.
I want to say yes because they only had to do a certain amount of takes, but I don't think digital was happening at the time.
Also, when you see the actors like are being like thrown around and like punched and stuff, they're
Yeah.
actually being thrown around and punched.
Yeah.
And
Bruce
when you
Campbell
see
taking that
their
flip with his own hand.
yeah,
He can take a
like
hit. He can
you
take a
see
real
them
hit.
getting hurt, they're actually getting hurt.
Dude,
It's
they
so
said that
cool.
set was close to the real movie as you can get to being on like a movie set. Like they said, both the movie and the set life reflected each other because they were working in like a swamp. They worked in this old dirty cabin and
I think they
swamp,
were
freezing
sleeping
cold.
in it as well.
What?
I think they were sleeping in it as well, like living in it.
They either like camped around it and slept inside of it, or they all slept inside that house. Either way, that was a nightmare to work on, but they still like redefined horror. So I mean, I tip my hat to everybody in that first movie because
It's an
they,
inspiring story.
not even that, it broke the ground for horror, and it broke the ground just for how to make a movie in general, where like I know it's a simple 2 second thing, but it's super cool in my opinion, where the eye of the demon's going up to the house and then he breaks through the window, and they broke that window, but they had to do it at just the right time so it wouldn't hurt
So
the
the
camera and
camera can go
everything,
through.
and the camera can go right through it. And I think that's just so cool because you like, it's real genius and creativity comes when you're inside the box, and it's in these certain parameters you got to work around it. And so I'm not saying it's his fault that Doctor Strange was a little bit of a letdown, but I am saying I would like to see a true Raimi version of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because the
Absolutely.
ending 10-15 minutes when Dead Strange is back up and he's got the army of the demons as wings and everything. That was pretty cool. That was pretty Raimi.
And how the demons talked and they had that high pitch,
Yeah,
like,
they had that screeching sound, which
yeah,
I kind of felt like was the opposite of the Evil Dead one, because the Evil Dead like this, like they're more distorted and down and deep, and then this one it's more high pitched and screechy.
yeah.
You know,
Have you, like, over time, like, I don't know if it's just me or if my opinions have changed. Real quickly, before, like, you bring up that, like, you don't count Doctor Strange, Sam Raimi, as like his movie because
I mean, it
he
had
didn't
Raimi elements. I just wish it was a
it
little
had
more Raimi.
yeah, because like Sam Raimi like came on, like he didn't have that much time to, like, look over and just uh, uh
No, but I know I think he was doing a lot of concept art when he was. I think still in talks, because he likes to do the ideas on the paper and then make it happen. So I think a lot of the concept art matches what I'd want to see. But Marvel having to appeal to family audiences in a broader scope, I really do get. I
cowards.
just well, I get, like, you have, well, because I mean you're also coming out of a pandemic where you didn't make any movies for a year, you couldn't do anything, so I understand that you had to make some changes, which is why I'm kind of giving like phase 4 a mulligan for phase 5, because everything that was made during the pandemic, you had problems. Everybody had problems. Now, Black Panther came out incredible. Shang-Chi came out incredible. Spider-Man looked more incredible than it did most times, because there were some green screen shots that were a little wonky, but the majority of it came out incredible. And I argue Thor: Love and Thunder because I just think that's a fun movie. If I wanted crazy Thor and if I wanted to see the wrestler Thor, I wanted that movie. All right. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect by any means, but do I enjoy it? Do I smile ear to ear? Absolutely. I watched it while I
I
was at the
gotta
gym on the treadmill. I was watching that
I,
whole thing.
I
It was
gotta I
great.
gotta I gotta watch it with you to
You just also gotta. Yeah, I think you just gotta. I mean, it's night and day, man. It's like you ever. What's that movie where it's like the devil and the angel and people's shoulder. That's
yeah,
just you and I. You know what I mean? We're
that's
very opposite in many different things. Whatever I consider happy and good, you're like, this sucks. Like you're just downing on it. I think
no,
it's great. I Can you please admit that whenever we're gonna get back on Evil Dead, but I gotta carry this because I truly think Thor: Love and Thunder had a potential to be something great. Do I think Taika Waititi's overworking himself? Absolutely. He's working on Time Bandits. He's working on Star Wars. He's working on this other movie that's coming out in a little bit. So he was doing that. He's got like 5, 6 projects under his belt. I get it. But gotta admit, Colin, look at me here. Look at me right here.
I'm
Okay.
looking.
That part of the movie, it's like 12 minutes in, I think, when Thor is giving the speech to King Yukon, which I know his name, the blue guy. And he gives that speech in front of the Guardians, and he rips off that cloth, and Welcome to the Jungle starts playing. You gotta admit, that sequence is sick.
We agree on that. That sequence is
That just
super
gets you
cool.
fired up. That song, I think, just that guitar riff in the opening goes great. Like
That scene
Megamind,
that scene stands on its own.
easily.
Respectfully, it's not, and I'm trying to be super nice here. You can tell I'm trying to be nice. Respectfully, for me, it's not enough for me to enjoy the rest of the movie.
I will admit that does not set the course of the movie. I will, though, say Christian Bale does that. For this movie, it's Christian Bale, but there was still very little of him.
There was not a lot of god butchering.
Oh, it was post God butchering. We saw God butched. That's what we got.
We
We got
saw,
God butched.
I think we only saw one god actually get,
Actually, and that was the beginning of the movie,
yeah,
which
and
I called from the beginning. Self 5 as a girl. I was very proud of myself. I will though
yeah,
say though, Zeus as Russell Crowe as Zeus was fun. I think that was kind of fun seeing all the different gods in Omnipotent City. It was a little sad though we didn't get to see Bast. No, yeah, Bast from because there was a Empire photo of the god Bast, or even like Moon Knight. I thought Moon Knight would have made a cameo because he's
you thought
well because
Moon
all
Knight
these
was.
people
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
because
yeah,
the
yeah.
girl that was embodying Bast, she was the avatar. So I thought maybe, hey, Moon Knight's going to be somewhere in the background.
Okay, I see it
Or
now
even
because I was like,
Khonshu, because he can't die. He's a god, even though
that's cool. I didn't think of that. That would have been cool.
that
That
would
would
have
have
been
been
kind of neat. Like they don't have to acknowledge him. They don't have to talk to each other. It's just him like in the rafters or something. Like
or like a statue or something to acknowledge.
something. Or like a chair that's empty and then it
But I
said like
also don't,
reserved for Khonshu or something like that. Like I don't know,
or
something
like
simple.
a little one liner of like, Kanji doesn't like to come to our meetings or whatever.
Yeah, or something Tyke would have been like, is this seat taken? It's like that's actually for Khonshu. It's like something.
Kanju hasn't been here for like a millennia. Yeah,
Yeah.
but we never
It's
know.
got like
Like he,
cobwebs and spiders on it and everything. I mean, I feel like I feel like if they did, they could, but it is what it is. But back in the Evil Dead, for one last note, this movie, like you said, it stands on its own. You don't know if it's going to go to a trilogy again. I
actually,
don't think
you
it
know
needs
what?
to be a trilogy.
You know what? I am going to switch my coffee to
Oh,
the
is that
evil.
is okay? I couldn't see what that was. Wow, you're switching mugs
That's
halfway through.
that's my face on it. I don't know if you can't see it
I
very
can't
well.
see it. Honestly, it looks just like a blob on the, I could see the chainsaw in Evil Dead in the blue shirt, but I did not know that was your face. Where'd you
Yeah,
get
no,
that at?
that's it was a gift from a friend, and I really love it a lot. And dude, this is a gosh, like
You can really again, we're
I would
seeing the
pull off an
juxtaposition between me and you. You're having an Evil Dead mug, and I'm having Winnie the Pooh. It's,
actually I don't think I dusted this, so I think I just drank a lot of dust.
oh my god. Well, hey, it's a
Okay.
little sweetener for your coffee, eh? All right. You really
Whoa,
just drink a mouthful of dust? Did you really just
I
drink a mouthful of dust?
don't know, but
Oh,
my coffee tastes different now.
all
So,
right, man. Well,
all right, so I actually
it's
wanted
awesome.
because it's really fresh in my mind.
Okay.
Now, the Mandalorian season 3 finale for
Yeah, you just got
people.
done watching that.
Okay, so quick disclaimer to people who
Oh, this is 100% spoiler warning, by the way.
this is
Like
100% spoiler.
100%. We're gonna get into it.
We're giving you enough time right now. We're going to give you a countdown. We're not.
There's a countdown going on. It's 5 right now. It's 4. It's 3. It's 2. It's 1. We're now in
Okay.
spoiler territory.
So I have like a couple of things. One, I enjoyed the finale a lot.
It was good. It was a good finale. I feel like the finales have been good. All 3
The,
seasons.
yeah, I personally thought that the stakes would have been a little bit higher, but that
Mm.
also doesn't mean I wasn't feeling the intensity.
No,
If
I
that,
get that. I
I'm
do
being
understand
fair. I'm
that.
being fair to it.
Yeah.
Who was the spy?
Mm. Okay, so the spy, I have no clue. I really thought I was gonna come up with something there. So I don't know. I think the spy is man. I don't know. I genuinely have no clue because it's clearly not the armorer. A lot of people were really quick to say it's the armorer, and I get the argument. She kind of like left before they came. Um,
Because I have a
but
lot of questions. Because
I
I
don't know.
to the and not just that question, to people who are at home. Okay, so James knows I'm recently a
You're coming into it.
I'm a born again Star Wars fan. Also like
Hallelujah.
I actually appreciate the prequels a lot more than people may think. Are they perfect? No,
No.
but
I
also
definitely would say though. Okay. Let me ask you this because then based on what you just said, if you had to pick a trilogy to watch, which trilogy would you be? Because I
oh
think I already know the
wow.
answer just based on what you just said. But if you had to watch one the rest of your life, prequels, original, or trilogy or sequels.
Hmm.
I mean, my answer is
Originals.
yeah, originals because it's like
But
no brainer.
the thing is that like it's such a hard question because
I
I I really do
I get it.
like the prequels and what they were going for. And not all of it was perfect, but at the
No,
time of their release, I'm sure now they they don't look so good, but at the time it was like a technical marvel of what they were able to
yeah,
accomplish.
I'll say that.
And there are a lot of flaws with them, but also they're not as inconsistent as people may think. I do believe that, like, there are some things that are questionable, like Hayden Christensen's acting when it came to the dialogue.
Well, I thing is, I think you had to work with bad dialogue. I think he did
No,
fine.
no, and it wasn't his fault.
Not
And
remotely.
George Lucas knows this. Mark knows this, and
Everyone knows this because he's
everyone
getting the
knows.
love he deserved then, now, which is sad.
Yeah, and but I love the fights, but also
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm actually torn between the prequels and the originals because the sequel trilogy is
It was promising.
aside from the Force Awakens,
It was promising.
it every movie was reactionary. Not every the Rise of Skywalker was most reactionary out of
Yeah,
everyone. The Last
absolutely.
Jedi, the Last Jedi was I truly believe that Rian Johnson should be able to make whatever Star Wars movie he wants, but also at the same time, he shouldn't have made The Last Jedi. He should have just had his own movie and not like change the story because excuse me.
No, I get what you're saying. I do.
You,
I think
you
Rian Johnson did a good job with whatever he had to do. Again, a lot of it was like Disney's input and everything. Um, but
and and
it's
Mark
beautiful
even
looking. I give it that. It's got great visuals.
yeah, it also has some really wildly bad stuff in it. Like that's what
Oh,
I'm saying. That
not even remotely. Yeah, yeah, no, like not remotely close
like
to anything else. It's wild. Like the
milk.
Cantabite. Yeah, Cantabite was. I didn't get that a single bit.
I
I.
I don't know why Rian Johnson felt like it was
I mean, I
important.
guess for that little kid. Which okay, the ending of the movie with the little kid holding the broom.
I
I
talked to you
kind.
about yeah.
We agree.
It's empowering.
It is. It's cute. It's empowering. And kind of it's like, oh, I used to do that when I was a kid. But we could have done that without Cantabite. Like, I feel like if that would have been the thing, like, if that's the last shot we saw, we're like, oh, this message is getting across the galaxy. There's
And
more people out there.
you saw different cultures of like different races of people hearing the word of like the Jedi.
And the Jedi still live on. I think that would have been a
I don't know if you
thousand
can
times
see this.
better.
I don't know if you can see this, but my hairs are up. I have
I can't. I
goosebumps.
just see little tiny spicks of hair.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't have like the longest hairs. You've nope, nope, nope.
Whoa.
I was about to be. I
Oh,
was like,
that is a no word, Colin. We're not there
hey,
yet
but
as a podcast.
yeah, no, maybe on mine, but not yours. Okay, so
Yeah, maybe
now, okay, so
an NC-17
why
podcast.
to talk about like why I bring up that I'm a new a born again Star Wars fan
Great
is
line.
because I had like a lot of questions, not because I was confused, like the story isn't clear. It's just because you are the expert that I will go to.
Wouldn't say
Okay,
there's a
so
lot of people who know a little more than me. Yeah.
Moff Gideon, he was going to make his own clone army with the Force.
Mhm.
So
Which
could you?
I also believe that the Moff-Gideon we see is a clone.
I was thinking that
I
too.
was thinking that too, but the
That
thing
was one
is
of my
that I think
questions.
he was a failed clone that didn't have the Force. That's why it was a little different. That's why I think he was more like stronger. He was more agile. He was quicker because I think it was a clone that because I think the Moff Gideon died in the escape that they broke him out of the shuttle,
Ooh.
and then they went back to Mandalore, got the new body.
Hmm.
That's what
So
I'm
do you
thinking.
think that like because of Moff all right, so I feel like you just said this, but I'm wording it differently.
Okay.
So because all right, so because Moff Gideon was captured, they were going there to not necessarily bail him out, but to assassinate him because they do not want to have like they don't want to
Who's
have like
they?
whoever killed him because we don't know, right?
Well,
Like
okay, we don't
we
know
know it's a
exactly.
Mandalorian, but we don't know who it is.
Well,
And it was
okay, we thought it was Mandalorian, but it turned out. So what? Okay, this is what I gathered from it. Moff Gideon was on the way to trial. He got broken out by someone who was still working for the Empire, because as we see in that episode, the Empire is still living in secret. We have that girl that was the bad guy on her ship, but then she's now working for the Republic in secret with the Empire. And then we see all the different group leaders. The guy that works for Thrawn, a bunch of other different people, and that guy, by the way, who had the beard, that was who is like Commander Hux or whatever, or General whatever,
his
is
father.
is his dad, but it's also Domhnall Gleeson's brother in real life.
Ah,
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of
cool.
cute. Aside from that,
Awesome.
so I think what happened is that someone in the Empire, like a group of people in the Empire, broke him out,
Yep,
and that best.
I
Oh,
did drink the
oh, you do.
I feel it. Frick.
God, it came from nowhere.
I just felt like I was like, what's moving around my throat?
Ugh. Okay, you good? You good, dude?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so
I'm sorry.
no,
Continue.
it's fine. Just whatever you do, don't drink from the cup. I feel like that's gonna make it worse.
I finished my coffee.
Okay, all right. I think you should have left it. And so, okay,
I do it for the
uh,
podcast.
whatever.
This is the
Uh,
way.
yeah, this is the way. So the scene where we talked about him breaking out of the ship, and there's Beskar alloy found by that pilot. I can never remember his name, but he was from Convenience. He's actually Uncle Iroh in the live action Avatar series coming up on Netflix. So he's
That's
Iroh,
cool.
and I'm so excited for him. Either way, so the Beskar alloy, I think that was something that was like stashed away on the ship or something. There's a little bit of inconsistencies near the end of it, but either way, Moff Gideon had Beskar. That piece of the shrapnel, I think, happened from the explosion. They rescued him, people in the Empire, and in that rescue attempt, he died. And they took his body back to Mandalore, uploaded whatever they had to do for the clone, or maybe they're all born with the same memories, and they just brought that one out of the shell.
So maybe there was like just like one, and they needed him, like you said, they needed him. Like they
One
can't
what?
just like let him go, like because I'm sure that like if they had other clones of Moff Gideon, they wouldn't necessarily like need him.
Well, I don't
But
think they like had other clones. I think they perfected it because it had
no,
Grogu's
no, I know
blood.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just
No.
saying that like because Moff Gideon was talking about how he wanted a clone army and they ruined it. So they they needed him to make like another version of him. You know what I'm saying? Because
I do get what you're saying. I like
I
they needed the body to continue and
I'm
finish
sure
the
the
work.
people I'm sure the people who are listening are like, dude, this guy doesn't know what he's talking
Well,
about.
no,
But
it's just it's not clear. Like there are so many other ways that they have done clones. They have done, the Kaminoan way, where it starts with the embryo and then the whole incubation process and it's selected genes and everything, and then the fast growing pace of the clone. So where they're like 2 years old, but they look like they're 30. Like it's different. So I think the way they did with the Kaminoans perfected it. We saw that for the Clone Wars.
and they
They have
have to do it differently because Moff
well,
Gideon
okay, you
wanted
haven't seen
them
the
to
Bad
have the
Batch, and I'm
Force.
trying so hard not to spoil anything here. So
Okay.
in the Bad Batch, it kind of makes it more clear for those who've seen the Bad Batch. You kind of get what I'm talking about for both season 1 and season 2. They kind of the Kaminoans, by the just out of this, perfected it. Whatever they had, they perfected it. The Empire messed everything up. They don't know what to do because they're trying to go back from the beginning and make it their own way.
Oh, so that's why like you don't have like clones. That's why like they recruited people into the Empire
So
because
again, that's also going to be the Bad Batch. But let me just do this.
Dave Filoni.
Well, they made it clear in the Bad Batch, but without spoiling it for you, I'll just give you the bottom line. The Empire didn't want anything to do with the clones. They hated the clones. Majority of the people hated the clones in the Empire, like not Moff Gideon, Grand Moff Tarkin. Hated those guys. And in the books and other source material that's not like visual, like movies or whatever, they sent clones to do like horrible jobs, and they expected them to die. And they didn't really want anything to do with them, so they wanted to get rid of them as best as possible, which is heartless because they're still, as we see in the Clone Wars, they're humans, they're people, they have personalities. Which at the time when I was reading those things, which was again years ago, I actually read those things in our middle school library, because they had that little comic book section, and they had the graphic novel section. It's like this big total wide. They had like books out of order.
That's where I was binge reading Ultimate Spider-Man in high school.
So
Like
I
my
grabbed one of
freshman
those
year.
books. Yeah, I grabbed one of the books, and I remember reading about it, and I took it home so I could Google some stuff. Either way, the Empire wanted nothing to do with the clones, which then brought in the stormtroopers. which you'll see again, like I said, for the third time now in the Bad Batch. And I don't want to spoil what's going on, but it makes sense once you watch it. So I'll leave it as that. I do though want to talk about just like a few more things outside from Star Wars and Evil Dead, unless you got something else to say. Because there's so
Well,
many like uncertainties about the season. Actually, I do actually want to go back. Season finale was great, a lot of uncertainties and everything, but Grogu got adopted.
Grogu
They
got
had a
adopted.
happy ending.
Yeah,
They did.
like I I would be okay if like they ended season 3 like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then because they're doing a Mandalorian movie, right?
Well, they're
Where is it
doing
called?
also a fourth. They're doing a fourth season. The
Okay,
next upcoming, I think, in August is Ahsoka. The fourth season's currently in writing, but Dave Filoni's doing a final movie to. He said that's going to encapsulate the Mandoverse, which is Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and now
so
Ahsoka.
okay.
Nothing else I can think of because Acolytes way, way, way before Skeleton Crew. I want to guess it's the sequel trilogy era.
Okay.
I
This
got
is
nothing
actually
else. Am I missing
okay.
anything?
This is kind of
Oh,
no,
Kenobi. Then that's let's no.
Kenobi and Andor are not connected.
No,
Ahsoka's
but I
more.
am so excited for Andor season 2. Please tell me you saw Andor.
I that is on my list. That is.
Whoa.
I know. Dude, that little clip of the
The speech I
monologue,
sent you. Yeah,
the speech.
that was great.
I had that on repeat, man.
It's good.
It was so good.
It's so
Okay,
good.
so I did want to talk about this, just
Mm.
real briefly,
Yeah.
and because we were having a conversation about this, because I made like a little joke and
Oh, jab.
yeah, a little jab,
Yeah.
and I wasn't trying to upset you,
No, you.
but I could tell that you were very frustrated, but not because you were toxic, but because there is a minority who are quite loud that really no matter what,
Oh,
just
oh, okay, okay.
yeah, I'm
Now I
not.
get
Oh,
what you're talking about.
okay, all
I
right,
was like,
because
in what Star Wars movie is there like a group that's okay? No, real people.
so
You're talking about living beings. Okay.
real quickly, we're,
Yeah.
we're me and James both agree that the Lizzo and Jack Black thing, there were fun cameos, but it was a weak episode.
It
But
was not the best episode in that season. I'm
it
not
was,
gonna say it's perfect, but
yeah,
I am
it's
a humongous Jack Black fan, and I love Lizzo. Okay,
not, I love Jack Black. I don't know Lizzo, so
you probably
I
like some of her movies, not movies, music. She's done pretty good, dude. I'm not gonna lie. For her as a music artist, the thing she like the performances she has done is incredible.
didn't you work with a guy in Disney that
I did. When I found out she was in the show, I texted it to him and I scanned him a screenshot. And she's like surrounded by Grogu merch, like everything Grogu. And I sent it to her as I sent it to him, and he goes, "Maybe I should start watching Star Wars." I'm like, for this one little thing, he's like, "Yeah, dude, he loves Lizzo."
well,
And
thanks to
yeah,
Lizzo, Disney has another Star Wars fan.
honestly, yeah, thanks to Lizzo. I think also thanks to Jack Black. But yeah, so we talked
Title of the
about this.
episode is "Thank You, Lizzo."
That should just be the main. That should have been like the title. Like, just thank you, Lizzo. Not even whatever the title was of the show. That's what
Oh
it would
God,
be.
I was about to say one of our faces could be on Lizzo, but that would be horrible.
Honestly, though, I feel like though in future movies they should bring back Lizzo and Jack Black just for like a fun little like, hey, remember us? I don't know.
And then they blow up.
Colin,
I'm,
no.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, so I did
Just
want to.
finish your
Okay,
point so we can move on because I don't like this conversation already because we talked about this. We got
yeah,
into a
we talked
heated
about
argument.
this. We talked about this, but I also just wanted to make it very clear about like our intentions when we are reviewing Star Wars. Like us two, we either love it or we're not a fan of it. But
Yeah,
we also believe that like Star Wars it can be for everyone, but also at the
it
same time,
is.
yeah, and it very much is.
I mean, I'm not saying
Before
everyone has to like it, but there's stories you can watch and feel that you don't get from Marvel or Harry Potter or anything else. I'd say the closest thing is actually Lord of the Rings. But Star Wars in its own is like so many things.
Yeah, you
Like whatever you think is possible, it's possible and more.
absolutely. And I felt it was also very important to acknowledge that there are a lot of people like who
So
work
many.
behind the scenes. John Favreau, Sam Morrill, Dave Filoni,
Rick and Mafuma, and then Brad Stiles Howard. All the directors also were working on these things.
and let's also acknowledge that does Kathleen Kennedy have issues? Yes, but you still have to thank her because some of the stuff that you like now currently in Star Wars,
Just
she
because
helped.
she said yes.
Yeah, she said yes.
So,
Now
I
is
mean, I'm
she?
not saying everybody's perfect in business or that not everyone does a perfect job in whatever job they do, but you
Just
got to
look
give
at
credit where
Feige.
credit's due.
Yeah, Kevin Feige has a mistake here and there. He's not.
Yeah, Thor
He's not.
2.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say Love and Thunder, but sure.
Shut up.
Now back to my main point, and then we'll move on from this. Is that like we love I James loves Star Wars. I'm really digging into it,
Well,
and
I have this
I
background.
yeah, and I see the appeal. I own a I own a Darth Maul kind of lightsaber that I built at Disney. All right, so
When was this?
this was when I went to Disney.
Oh, wait, is it like the plastic one?
It's the plastic one. It's not like an authentic
Okay,
one.
because I have the one that you build for a ridiculous amount of money. That's what I did. I thought you were talking about that. I thought you did that. I'm like, when
No,
was that?
this was like
Because I know it wasn't when we went.
eighth grade. No, 2015. 2015. Because that was the
Long
year
ago.
Batman Arkham Knight came out.
Hmm.
It was a family trip.
I guess.
But I really feel like it's important that we understand that just because one episode or one movie you didn't like it shouldn't ruin your childhood
No.
or ruin Star Wars. All right, it just
You also
we
shouldn't make a big deal. I feel like
yeah,
people make a big too big of a deal about it. They're like, oh, they're ruining Star Wars. No, you just didn't like it. Like, move on.
and it really bums me out as well because I'm really noticing more of a trend with not just Star Wars but with Marvel and DC. Now
Sure.
Marvel, I have my issues with,
Yeah.
but also like
I'm not
I
saying Marvel's doing perfect, but I do
yeah,
feel like there is a feeling that it's missing. Like the best thing I can tell it, and the best way to describe it is when you watch the first Guardians movie, there's a feeling you get when you watch that movie that I don't. Not just saying all movies had to replicate, but movies in that era, like Phase Two, Phase Three, was that Phase Two? Phase Two,
too.
Phase Two, I think is the perfect phase for Marvel. It's great. It's got Ant-Man, it's got Guardians, it's got the Captain America movies, it's got the Thor 2. But even Thor 2 had its own little, had its own bits. Like the beginning was great, the ending sucks. So
Thor
I
2
think,
has its fan base.
yeah, it's
And
got a fan base. But I think like there's a certain magic, I don't want to say, but there's a certain feeling that's missing now because I think they don't give it enough time to want to make you miss it, you know?
yeah. And to that point, just because right now you're the movies that you're wanting to watch
Yeah.
aren't coming out the way you want, doesn't mean that Disney or Marvel doesn't listen.
Yeah.
All right. Because
They're
they're
actually
also
slowing projects down, Marvel. So
yeah.
they take time to miss them.
If you hate Disney, at least acknowledge the fact that like Disney listens to the money and they listen to the people who buy their products. And if they're noticing that there are issues, then they're going to slow down the process, try to make sure that you're happy, but they're not always going to cater to specifics. They're going to cater to the fact that okay, we need to improve our content, we need to improve our budget, and if our content and the quantity of how much we're giving out is decreasing the quality of it, then we're gonna pay much more close attention to the limited projects we have. Make sure
Yeah,
they're
they,
getting
they try and do a lot because there's a lot to do. And
yeah.
it's a international global fan base that they try every day to make happy, which like you said, it's really hard to make everybody happy. And I get that. There's mistakes that's going to be made. But overall, you don't just kind of I don't think you quit on it too. But now of course you have your own opinion. If you want to quit on it, you're fine. But I feel like people who though go out of their way to make other people have a bad time when they're trying to enjoy something suck. Like I know we're trying to keep pretty positive on this podcast, but like if you're watching a movie
But we're
and
pretty
someone the
positive
entire
right now.
yeah, but I feel like if you're watching a movie with someone and the entire time they're just dissing on it and you're just trying to enjoy it and you're just like, shut up, like
Sounds kind of
they don't
familiar from
listen
last night.
sometimes. What?
Sounds
Oh yeah,
familiar.
with you and Evil Dead, you had a horrible movie experience. I was
Yeah.
surprised you still. I had the same thing happen almost back to back with two more. I had one for Shang-Chi and then Spider-Man. It was almost back to
Oh,
back. I was so mad. So that's now every time I go to that theater because that's where I have the membership with. I get so nervous. I wait a long time before the movie comes out before I go see it, so I just know majority of the theater is gonna be empty and I can just enjoy it. But either way, yeah, just chill out. Like you don't have to be mad so much where you have to ruin for everybody else. But if you are upset, you can be upset. You can dislike it, whatever the case is. Either way, but
at the same time, like, you know, you're like, these people, they're passionate, and I applaud them for being so passionate about
yeah,
something
you can
they
always
really
voice your
care
opinion.
about. But there also comes that like rationality of, you know, thinking about this, that not every movie is going to come out perfect. You're allowed to be disappointed, but also kind of look at yourself and realize you could be over dramatic just a little bit, because
For not everybody, but certain people.
certain people,
Yeah,
and because and I make sure, I'm going to point this out real quickly and then we'll move on to some fun stuff. I am not perfect. I can be very hyperbolic, over dramatic. I can say, like, James knows this most of all, but also I'm well enough to aware that I'm not going to say Thor Love and Thunder ruined the MCU, or
thank you,
or
because that would break my heart.
yeah, I don't
So
like it.
yeah,
I personally, I think that it's a bad movie, but but I still love teasing James about it. We have a good rapport, and I do acknowledge that it has some really dope moments and
yeah,
one of the coolest MCU opening fights of all time.
absolutely, and I agree
Yes.
on that. To move on to less of a TED Talk note. Thank you guys for listening. I do want to ask you one question because I saw this. I was like doing work, and I follow the creator that does he was like Bush Hartman, I think his name is. He did Fairly Odd Parents and Danny Phantom. And I thought to myself, I'm like, that's a good theme song. So I googled on YouTube. That's a good sentence. I YouTubed the Danny Phantom theme song, and I forgot how cool that was. And it got me thinking, which now I'm going to ask you this question. If since Nickelodeon is now doing a new TMNT movie, which looks phenomenal with the new animation and everything, what movie would you want to see? Not Nickelodeon based, but my thought was Nickelodeon based. It
Like
doesn't have to be, but
okay,
animated TV show, an animated TV show that goes to a movie. What
that
would you pick
goes.
as that movie? Because my answer either would be Ben 10 or Danny Phantom. I think Danny Phantom in a Sony animated movie would do so cool.
Hmm. Now,
It's very niche, I know, as a fan base because it's been years it's been off the air. But I mean, I could get Ninja Turtles because they're constantly coming out with new shows every like 4 or 5 years. But I don't know. Ben 10 still got a pretty solid fan base. That'd be really sick to see in animation. Danny Phantom would be really cool. I mean, there I definitely I'm not confident you watched. I don't feel like anybody watched it. But there used
what,
to be this
Disney
Disney
Phantom?
TV show that I watched where these guys that had like motorcycles that became like planes. It's called Sky Riders or something like that.
What?
It was like, dude, I swear if I pull up an image, if I pull up the image on here, which I will,
I no, I found it.
Stormhawks. Stormhawks. That's what it's called.
Don't know it. I would love to
Stormhawks. It's
see.
crazy good.
I would love to see a Ben 10,000 animated movie.
Dude, that'd be cool, man.
The story of Ben 10 as an adult, from the
Because we
classic,
got plenty of those in the
first season.
show.
What's up?
We had like 5 of those episodes in the entire series of Ben 10.
I know, but like it just one, it would be bringing back, because I don't know if they still doing Ben 10.
Dude, well, they are, but it's like definitely for a younger audience.
Okay,
It's
so
very much changed.
I think it would be really cool to no, I'm taking it back. Generator X.
You love that show more than I think you did Ben 10.
I Generator Rex was so cool.
That was a good one. That was an interesting one. I think
The
that'd be kind of
Secret
cool.
Saturday, like the three pillars from my childhood: the Secret Saturdays,
That was a good one.
Generator Rex,
That
and
was a
Ben
good
10.
one. That's the best. Ben
And
10 was so good, dude.
Ben 10 and
It had the
Generator Rex
best toys.
crossover.
Ben 10 had the best toys, dude.
Oh, I had like three different versions of the Omnitrix
I
because
had all of them. They were
I kept on
so
breaking it.
cool. They were so cool, dude. My favorite was not the Ultimatrix because it was long and I didn't like it. I couldn't bend my arm as much.
The
But
Omni, no,
the Omnitrix is the first one. That's the more blocky one. That's a good one.
I like the white one.
The white
It was
one.
the third.
Oh, the square one that looks like an Apple Watch.
Yeah, the Omniverse.
That's not. That's the one between the first one and Ultimatrix. It's just I think
Oh,
the green circular one.
I had that one.
That's what I had. That was my favorite one. That one was sick. That I think because you just squeeze it, it pops back. Oh, it's so actually on my Apple Watch. I'm not kidding. I don't know if it's gonna pick up in sound, but I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, I don't know if
That
it's gonna
is
show up in
so
color. So
cool.
if it's not gonna, okay, there we go. And you can select different. I
I'm
think it's
getting
too
an
loud.
Apple Watch.
It's an yeah, and you can like tap whichever one. So I'm gonna pick.
I can hear it too.
I'm here. I don't know if it's gonna pick up in the mic though. I'm gonna pick. Come on, work with me, you stupid green screen. I'm gonna pick Cannon Bolt. If this thing, oh, there we go. I'm gonna pick Cannon Bolt, and it goes white, and then does the red. It's the coolest $2 I ever spent, dude. It's so, dude. I was somewhere, and I just was like, click, 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 click. It's just going through them all, and I'm like, this is the best thing I have ever done.
Man,
I don't know. I
that
feel like that'd be a lot of fun because the toys they have now, they're centered around that new show. But I got curious one day and I went on like a eBay, Mercari, Facebook Market hunt for the Omnitrix, any of them, and they're like $400 or something. Like people are selling them for ridiculous amounts of money. It's only going to get higher as the years go on, but I would love to have one again. It's just I had one that it was huge and it had like a game option where you use the turn.
I had that one.
It was big, yeah. And then I had another one which I'll admit this. I was that kid that wore it to school. The one that you just kind of turn and you smack down, and then I got older and you couldn't do that. But I had one of all the TV shows, and then I gave them away for some stupid reason. I wish I didn't. As well as the Tron Legacy stuff.
Same way. I'm the same way with comics, and then when I stop talking to them, I'm like, oh, now I kind of wish I didn't give them that gift.
I gave away a lot of cool crap. Like I think toys peaked when Toys R Us was around. There was so much good stuff there, and I know it's back in Jersey. I think they have a Toys R Us in Jersey.
Yeah,
but
no, that's the one I got. That's the one at my mall.
Nice, that's cool. Must be fun. I got nothing
no,
over here in the
it's
south.
not because it's still sad to go in there because it's like it's cool that
it's cool open. That, it's available to the public.
Hear me out, man. It's cool that Toys R Us like it there was something special about Toys R Us back in the earlier days. And it feels like whenever I go to this Toys R Us, it's amazing that they still have it open, and I applaud them for being able to. But there's just something sad entering in it. Like, man, this is
like it doesn't feel the same. Is that what you mean?
Doesn't feel the same, and it's not because I'm an adult. It's just because
I'd say that is the reason why. Because as a kid, you thought it was like 7 stories tall.
No,
toys down the aisle.
Okay, it's not because I still get excited when I look at.
It was the Costco for kids.
Yes, that's it, but it's smaller and the energy is just off, but I do see the kids having fun and everything, and that's incredible.
As long as it lives on.
The fun always lives on. It's just something sad. Like it's not because I'm an adult and like I don't like toys anymore. It's just because I'm an adult.
Yeah, no.
It's
me neither.
It's because I'm an adult. Yeah. And back in the earlier days, like it just like going to Toys R Us, it was big, it was bombastic.
It felt like being invited to
Comic.
I felt like it was being invited to Jack Conrad's party in Babylon. That was our Jack Conrad's party. There was people flying off the walls.
Not even gonna say anything. I was about to say something.
Don't. But if you haven't seen Babylon, it's just the opening party scene where people are just doing whatever they want. It was a very carefree zone. I will
Whatever
say.
you, like rule 32 is definitely like
Rule
whoa.
32.
Never mind. I'll tell you after the podcast.
I don't think I want to know.
Whatever. So, but like,
I don't think I want to know that. Either way, though, I don't know. Okay, this is also completely off topic because it was reminded because of Toys R Us. When the hit movie Robots came out with Ewan McGregor and Robin Williams, did you ever buy any of the toys there? Because there was one that I regret buying because I grew out of it, but it was this boot. It was toy boots, like plastic, really odd design boots. And when you put on, you have to take the top off and slide your foot and then put it over it. Of Rodney Copperbottom's feet, and they did like robot, like as you were walking.
That's cool.
I don't know if they went over the shoe or something like that, but I remember them being on my feet. And I'm thinking like, this is the coolest thing ever. And then I grew out of them way too quick, and we just gave them away. But did you ever get like one of those things? Did you ever have like something like that just stuck with you?
I did. The Fantastic Four thing hands from the 2000.
I had the Hulk.
I got the Hulk when 2008's Edward Norton Hulk came out.
Did yours make noise?
Yep.
That's the one.
Yeah. I did have a Clone Trooper helmet from the Clone Wars.
Oh. Was it
And
Rex or was it just the plain?
It was the one with the voice where like
yeah, but
like,
was it Rex's or was it the plain one?
plain one.
I had that too. I had an Optimus Prime one when the Transformers movie came out. I had an Optimus Prime helmet as well.
I wanted a Bumblebee one.
I had, okay, this is a long shot. Do you remember those ones?
So old.
I know. Do you remember the ones where you stuck your hand in what looked like a car or something, and then you pull a trigger, and then the weapon flips out, and then you could like pull the trigger, a second one, and it makes the gun sound effects?
I saw the commercials.
You had that one? I had one of Ratchet.
I
had Ratchets. I wish I had that still, but it broke like halfway through. Like I kept flipping it back and forth too fast. It just cracked and broke.
My toy game kept on changing because I went from Bakugan to Beyblade.
That's what I was going to bring up too. Bakugan's on TikTok, and I just scrolled through theirs because it's such a nostalgia rush of rolling endless hours trying to nail it on the magnetic board.
Tech Deck. Remember Tech Deck?
I wasn't into much. I didn't do that much. I couldn't do it right. I would just smack it and see how far I can get it launched. That's what I do.
I liked collecting the Marvel ones. I did have Marvel Tech Decks.
I didn't have Mighty Beans, but do you remember Mighty Beans? The little beans that just kept rolling around things. They had Marvel ones. Came out we were in like third or second grade of the Marvel edition, I think.
Yeah.
Like little plastic beans.
I had those.
Really, yeah. I mean, it's a boring thing, but it was cool because they had Spider-Man on one of them. So
you remember the weird trend of silly bands?
Weird or successful? Because I remember the successful trend of actually we talked about this not too long ago on another podcast. That mine got banned in my school.
Oh, we did have this
because some kid choked on it. But I do remember them. We used to like smuggle them.
Wait, did he make it out?
Was he okay? Yeah, he's alive. He's not dead. Wow, he's not dead. But either way, they were like, all right, well, if this kid choked on it, all the rest of them are going to do it. Let's just ban it statewide. So that was fun. There was this was like third, fourth grade, maybe even. Third, fourth grade. That sounds about right.
Okay, well, so did they like ban every rubber band?
I mean, nothing that the teachers weren't using for like assignments. Like if we
have they never heard of Darwin's natural selection, the survival of the fittest?
Look, man, I don't think they taught that one in third grade, but either way, we had our own version of it. And there was hold on, there was another toy that I had that was sick. Star Wars what? Oh, okay, there was two of them actually, and I don't know if you had this one, but I had this one. I thought it was sick. It was Anakin's lightsaber. They had other versions of the lightsaber, but when I had Anakin's lightsaber. And it was spring loaded. So that when you pull the trigger, it shot up, but also it had the light sound effect and the sound effect. And on the bottom, if you click a secret button, a tiny dagger lightsaber comes out and you can connect it on the bottom. Do you remember that? It came
Yeah,
out around the same time as the movie, before the
yeah,
show.
and no. So,
Well, what's the no and yes?
okay. I don't remember it being spring loaded where you press a button
The
and
other
it
ones I know you got to flick
shoots
out.
out on its own.
Yeah.
But I did have an Anakin lightsaber, but
The flickable, like the hard
but
plastic one.
I had to flick it.
Yeah.
But when I did do that and you press a button, it's like and then like when you like hit like a surface, it's like doosh, doosh.
Yeah, that sounds exactly like the one I'm. It sounds
But you
like
said
that.
it was spring loaded, like you press
Yeah.
a button, it shoots out. Like with
Yeah.
me, I had
Oh,
to
I
like
guess I didn't get that one then.
yeah. So like
All right.
I didn't have your rich person lightsaber. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, yeah, no,
Mine was light.
real 2008 recession money. Yeah. Okay.
Like that day actually, I I've been harping my parents for a week to because I wanted to get a Ben 10 what was a what was the Ben 10 fire character that was like molten? I forgot his name.
There's swamp fire, and
Not
then
Swamp Fire. This one was before the first
I always get it wrong because I always say like Stormfront or something like that.
Hothead or
No,
something.
it's not. It's got a fire heat blast.
Heat Blast. I wanted a because Heat Blast was so cool.
Heat blast was
I
sick.
wanted a Heat Blast action figure, but the ones
Wait,
that was like super flexible
oh,
that you got to move the arms and
I thought you were
everything.
going to talk about the one that they had this really weird trend of stories where it was a Ben 10 character with an animal comparison. So there was like it was Heat Blast with like a fire eagle.
That's weird.
I
Anyway,
know, and then I had forearms on like this beast.
like I don't want to know. I like okay. Anyway,
It was
so
really weird, but I remember loving it. I'm gonna send a photo, but it was a sick thing, dude. I
so
did
I
though. I had an
wanted
accelerate that had when you pull it back like those race car ones, and then you like let it go, it like ran on its own. That was
I
one I
had a
had.
Ghost Rider one of that from the
Yeah,
Ghost Rider
that was
Nicolas
good.
Cage movie where I pull it back and then he just shoots out.
Yeah,
Um,
that's pretty good too.
but we went to Walmart just so I can get Heat Blast, but I changed my mind when I saw a lightsaber,
Mm, those were good,
and
dude.
that was the lightsaber I had. And
I
then
never had this one, but I knew a guy who had the clone blaster toy where it had those additional accessories. So it starts with the blaster, then you put on the handle, then you put on the stock, then you put on the scope, then you put on a handle, and it becomes the assault rifle. But every time you build it, it gets different sound effects. So if you have the assault rifle, it sounds like that. When you take it off, it sounds like the normal rifle. It was incredible. It was sick.
I liked how you did that. Incredible.
Yeah, it's a good
Your voice
impression.
works better when it does that.
I appreciate that. Thank you, buddy.
No problem.
Well, overall, I think with the new Godzilla movie coming out with I think an orangutan bad guy, which is going to be pretty exciting. I don't know about this one, but Adam Driver as Reed Richards is rumored to be in final talks. We talked about it. I don't hate it. I just feel like it's not the final choice. I wouldn't be mad if it is, but I feel like we could do a little more. I said I feel like I've said I'm
Yeah.
fine with it. I'm not gonna
Well,
hate
no,
it.
I wasn't disagreeing. I was thinking about it, and yeah, that's kind of true.
Yeah.
I'm also accepting of the fact that I'm accepting that if they're gonna cast like older people to play 30-year-olds like Adam Driver or Mila Kunis,
That's right. Also Mila Kunis.
I don't hate it because I do like my Fantastic Four to be
We do.
older, like
Yeah.
adults, like a
Yeah.
family. Because I think I told you this. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want them to cast like 20-year-olds because I would just feel like they're more of like a clique than
Yeah.
like
Yeah. No, I
family.
agree. I think the family aspect of this group is vital because that's where you get the heart of it all.
I also
You
hope
know,
that we get Franklin and I forget the other name.
Valerian,
Valeria.
Valeria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we get Franklin and Valeria Richards. And
At
if
some point.
I'm already casting who Valeria is.
Well, I guess we'll talk about that next week. But it's
The little girl from Evil Dead Rise.
okay. Then I guess there it is. Well, we got there a little week early. But that's actually gonna probably be roll credits there. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the Tu-Vie podcast. You guys can check us out on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and the one above all, Spotify. We have it all there. We're also on YouTube at the Tu-Vie podcast, as well as on TikTok and Instagram as well, just called Tu-Vie podcast or the Tu-Vie podcast. Can't remember off the top of my head, but it's all going to be in the description below. And also check out our letterbox. We're doing kind of a weekly rewatch of a lot of the movies that we've watched recently. I rewatched Talladega Nights, forgot how funny that movie is, and it is essentially Pixar's Cars 3, but just better. Like Cars 3 is a Pixar version of that movie, and okay, this one is the end all be all Cars movie tied with Days of Thunder. Colin, you recently rewatched. We started watching Talladega Nights, but
I finished it.
You did. What'd you think?
Loved it.
So funny. So if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's on HBO Max. But like I said, everything's in the link in the description. And next time we're going to be talking about a lot of the new stuff going around with DC. I want to talk about that as we get closer to that because CinemaCon is happening this week, and I'm so excited. So be sure to watch and subscribe to our TikTok and as well as YouTube.
Restore the Snyderverse.
Yeah. Okay. No.
What?
It's not happening, dude.
You could okay. One, before you leave, because I'm not. I think you could have James Gunn's DC universe, but you could also still finish the 2 Justice League movies because count it as Elseworlds. I don't know what you love Zack Snyder's Justice.
I do, but I feel like I feel like we have to move on. I'm happy with just Zack Snyder's Justice League being released. I own it on DVD, but I don't know.
I'm gonna quote Captain America. Some people move on, but not us.
Okay. And to quote Gandhi, cool. So with that being said, we're gonna have to wrap up right here. We're gonna talk about this next week. That's all I'm gonna say.
Maybe.
All right. Thank you guys again for watching. See you guys next week.
I hate you.